Hey guys, it's Dark Goom Gamer here. Now, I'm gonna be doing another first impressions video. That's actually the funny thing. The last first impressions video I did was on Sunset Overdrive when that came out, and that was October 28th, I want to say. I thought I was gonna be doing a whole lot more first impressions videos with late fall 2014. I don't know why that didn't pan out though. Oh well, doesn't matter. So I'm here bringing you another first impressions video on The Order 1886, which was released today and is a PS4 exclusive, which is brought by the team who did, I want to say, God of War, Chains of Olympus, and a bunch of small. I actually want to say they did Okami also on the Wii. So they've done a bunch of smaller titles. And I think this is their first AAA game, and you know what? It's not a bad start for AAA, for a team to be doing a AAA game. So for those of you that don't know, The Order 1886 takes place in 1886, obviously. Well, not obviously. I mean, it's a fucking number. Who could like it? Assassin's Creed 3 does it take place in the year 3? No, it doesn't. It takes place in the year 3 of America. You know. What if we had different years for America, depending on how long America's been around? That'd be weird. Because Japan does the same thing, you know, with like the Showa era. Doesn't matter. The only reason I know that's because of Higurashi. Doesn't matter. Anyway, getting off track. So, so this is going to be a first impressions of the Order 1886. Already said exclusive for PS4, and it takes place in Victorian era London as sort of a steampunk kind of thing. Think of stuff like Dishonored. It's that kind of setting. It's a Victorian kind of, it's like a dreary, rainy kind of look to it, but there's, you know, advanced technology, but the culture's still there. It's that kind of thing. If you know steampunk, then you already know what I'm talking about. Brought at the hands by Nikola Tesla, apparently. You get to meet you get to meet the scientist in this game. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, because he and Edison did not share very acquainted kind of friendship. Well, they were acquainted. They knew of each other. Oh, they knew of each other. They didn't like each other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So basically, the story revolves around the mythos of the Knights of the Round Table. So you're going to be playing Sir Galahad, and your comrades with Lady Igraine. I'm not sure where Igraine comes from. I just need to look back. Sir Percival, Lafayette. I'm not sure if Lafayette is an. I only know the basic Knights of the Round Table. You know, Galahad, Percival, Lancelot, Arthur, of course. So yeah, it basically takes place in that kind of mythos. The only thing I don't understand is that I'm not sure if these are just characters named after the knights, or if they're actually the Knights of the Round Table from all the way back then, and they're like immortal or something. So I don't know if that's the case, because Percival kind of alludes to that idea, where it's like, I've been around for centuries, bro. And he doesn't say bro. That'd be pretty funny. Hey, bro, what's up? What are you gonna do? I'm immortal. Yeah, you see this shit? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So starting off with the story, the characters are actually pretty interesting, and the mythos itself is pretty interesting because you want to see how it goes along. It also doesn't heavy-hand you the plot, and I like that. I just like how certain games like to just say, this is the mythos, or just say, here's the game, play the story, figure it out. I like games like that, because there's been a lot of games recently where it's kind of it deals you the story in a very heavy kind of way. So that's what I like about the story of The Order 1886. The one thing that may put off a few people is that if you don't like first of all, the intro. I played about an hour and 40 minutes of the game. That's why this is called First Impressions, not really a free-form review. Even then, I wouldn't really do a video like that. So the intro to The Order 1886 it's a little dry. So for those of you that lose faith quickly, The Order can trick you. Because the intro of the game, I think it's like a solid 8 minutes of cutscene until you actually get control of Galahad. And the intro is kind of like this event that's going to take place later in the game, but it's given to you now, just as a sort of just sort of, oh, this is what happens later on. I wonder what leads up to that, and then it rewinds time and then goes on like that, kind of like a. God, there's like 50 movies. There's tons of movies and games that do that formula, but I can't name any of them. Oh well, it doesn't matter. You guys know what I'm talking about. So the intro has a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscene, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of control of Galahad. You're kind of just moving down hallways until the intro ends. And I want to say the intro is around 20 minutes probably, and it's it's a slow 20 minutes. Even though I like story, but it came to the point where it's like, all right, pick up the pace. So after that, but the good thing is that after the intro, the game really does pick up the pace. It gives you like, it rewinds time and shows Galahad as a knight, an actual knight. So yeah, the story and gameplay moves along with that. So you're just like, oh, I'm Galahad, I'm shooting people. Speaking of which, going into the gameplay. Well, before that, let's go back to the story for a little bit. The characters are pretty interesting. You get to talk to, again, the Knights of the Round Table, and I was expecting some of them to be a bit of a hard ass, because that's a lot of characters now. Then they're just like, oh no, I know everything that's to be done. You can't screw around at all. Excuse me. But I like there's a lot of humanity to these characters, because Galahad is kind of a hard ass, but he's just doing his job. Lady Igraine is also pretty. She's disciplined, but she also likes standing her ground, especially when guys try to hit on her. It's pretty funny. Then General Lafayette, he took me by surprise. I think he's Canadian. He might be like French Canadian, because that accent is just, I've never heard a French accent like that. So when they say go meet General Lafayette, and I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna have a long beard. He's gonna be like, you can't do that. You go somewhere else. We're gonna be doing something corrupt over here. Don't look. But no, you walk in, and then General Lafayette is hitting on this other woman at a place they locked down because of Lycans. I forgot about the whole other point of the story. Basically, the Knights of the Round Table are keeping the balance between half-breeds and humans. Half-breeds, think of them as Lycans or werewolves. Lycans and werewolves, they're interchangeable. It's basically the same. It's the same comparison with vampires and Nosferatu. It's kind of the same kind of difference. So that's how that's going on. So they lock down an area. You go meet General Lafayette, and he's trying to hit on this lady at the area they've locked down. It's pretty funny. Yeah, but I like these characters. They have good banter. You can see that there's history, between them, and they're not afraid to poke fun of each other. Especially since Galahad is old, and Lady Igraine is like, "Yeah, I can. You were great." Galahad's like, "Was," and she was like, "Yeah. I'm better now, though." It's pretty funny. I like banter like that. But anyway, moving on to the story, the gameplay. Let's get into the gunplay. Let's talk about the good first. The gunplay is actually pretty interesting, because it's basically third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, going into cover, kind of Gears of War style. So it's basically kind of like that. But what I like about it is that the shooting is really tight. I like the aiming is fine. Everything else about it is fine. One thing I really like. Number one is the cover system. It's pretty fluid, except for a couple times where I had trouble getting behind cover. But anyway, the thing with the Order 1886 is that if you get behind cover, the field of view would get smaller. So your view is only just a little bit above the thing you're covering behind, and I really like that. That's another thing I want to talk about. The gunplay and certain difficulty sections of this game. I've realized how many games now give you this sort of sense or some kind of thing that will tell you where the enemy is. And I tried, and instinctively I tried looking for a button like that, and I was like, oh no, it's just a regular shooter. Just shoot the guys when they come out. And I really like that because I got caught off guard a couple times by people I didn't see. It's not like one-hit kills either, so I like that. But if you stand still, they'll destroy you. So I really like the gunplay. The gunplay is very exhilarating. I really like that bit of the gunplay. Now, when you get out of gunplay, that's where things get a little clunky. Not too much. You're just walking around. That's basically it. But just walking around. Sometimes Galahad will go into sections only being able to walk, and that can get a little slow. So, but it's not too much of an issue. It's just a couple times I had problems. That's why I'm talking about them now. Even if I didn't have too much of an issue, it's still something I'd like to address. This next part I should talk about. The graphics are terrible. They're just terrible. No, that's a complete lie. Oh my god. I don't know what kind of witchcraft, what kind of goat they had to take the head from and put in this cauldron to make these kind of graphics, but I'm just playing the game and it is fantastic looking. I don't know how they did it, but facial animations, character animations, the general feel of 1886 London, I really like. It's very, very immersive to the point where there's black bars at the top and the bottom. It's the same thing with like The Evil Within, where it had that kind of widescreen look to it. To the point where you will forget about those bars. I don't know what it is, but something that would seem so distracting is left completely out of your mind. And that's the weird part. Because I noticed it at first. It was kind of weird at first, but then I completely forgot about it. And then something would trigger to remind me of those black bars. It's like, oh yeah, I remember those. Oh well. So the graphics are intense. They're so ridiculous. It's so good looking. It's unbelievable. Now, the last thing is that, again, this is first impressions. I haven't gotten too far into the game yet. At least I hope not. So I've only been an hour and 40 minutes and gotten to chapter 4 of the game. So I don't know how many chapters there are. The other thing I really like about the Order 1886, which a lot of people are bashing it for, is its a linear approach. And usually, I really don't like linear games. I like open world games. I'm a big fan of open world games, but playing the Order 1886 has reminded me that there are linear games that can be really good. One of them, for instance, is The Last of Us. Stuff like The Last of Us, Uncharted, pretty much recent Naughty Dog games. They've been praised highly, even with their linear progression. The Order 1886 is kind of like the same thing. It's very linear, but I also appreciate it because it's a game with a vision. It's like, we're going to tell you this story, here's where the story takes place, we want you to go through this gameplay, this cutscene, appreciate this, blah blah blah, onto this. The problem with recent open world games is that things have gotten a little dispersive. Stuff like Grand Theft Auto. Unless I'm playing with a friend, I don't touch the thing. And that's because the game is too dispersive. There's too many things to do. It's a little overwhelming, but what I like about the Order 1886 is that it's got one thing it wants you to do and just go through with it. And I really, really like that, even if other people don't. But I like that that quality of the game, even though I really don't like it in other games. But as the Order 1886, it works. I like it. That may also have to do with the art style. So what do I think about the Order 1886? Well, first impressions, because it's a first impressions. I haven't gone through all the game yet. So that's something to consider right now. If you're not a fan of long cutscenes and long dialogue, you may not like the beginning of this story, and maybe a little into the story, because I was really interested in it as long as we got past the intro, because that was not a good part. Excuse me, but yeah. So, and that's the thing. That's why I don't consider it too much of a problem, because Metal Gear Solid has gotten successful, and it's known for really long dialogue sequences, especially the codec sequences in the first game, or the first Solid game. Oh my god. Oh, that was so boring. Talking about jeans for half an hour. So I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan, so I'm used to long cutscenes. So I like the Order 1886. So far I'm enjoying it, and I've been kind of, vibrating ever since I stopped playing a game so I could get this impressions together. Because I was like, I'm just staring at it, and I had to wait to a specific moment because the house was too crowded, and I had to wait to a specific moment until I had to play it again. So I wanted to get the hour and 40 minutes that I played into one video before I went on and played a little bit more. So far, I'm really liking it. I like the style. Even the cutscenes can get a little bit overbearing, but I like how the story's going, so I see no problem with that. The gunplay is a lot of fun. I really like the gunplay. It's very intuitive. Well, not intuitive, but the camera, playing around with the camera has done a lot more than I thought it would, because the depth of field goes down the further you try to shoot, so you can't shoot too far, and the camera moving down when you get behind cover. Just little things like that, just playing around with the camera does change the gameplay, and I really like that. There's a lot of difficulties when it comes to that. Good difficulties, not like actual difficulties. The graphics, do I need to talk? Jeez. Just look at it. It's freaking... It's unbelievable. So yeah, I really like. I'm really liking it so far. Again, I'm only an hour 40 minutes into it. So I'm not sure if the game is really that short or not. I've heard all kinds. 9 hours, it's 5 hours. But I'll find out eventually. But it is seeming like a game that I would like to replay a lot. So, yeah. So far I'm enjoying the Order 1886. If you're not a fan of really long cutscenes, or you're really like just getting into the gameplay, I don't think I can recommend it so far, because I really like the gunplay. It's just that there's a lot of downtime in between. But for those of you that enjoy cutscenes and enjoy story, you're really gonna have a lot of fun with this. The story is interesting, the characters are interesting, the gunplay is really fun once you get to it. The only couple problems is that when you're just walking around, it's a little clunky. Some of the exploration is a little shallow. It's very linear, but I like the linearness of this game. So guys, that's pretty much what I think of the Order 1886 so far. Only an hour and a half into it. So yeah, if you guys want to see more stuff on the Order 1886, because if it really is a short game, then I'm considering making it a Let's Play. Excuse me. So yeah, if it really is a short game, I'm thinking about doing it as a Let's Play to fill up that 4th day spot. So yeah, that's what I think so far. So if you enjoyed this video, then please look at my other videos if you're interested. So yeah, that's it. If you like story, you like good gunplay, then I suggest picking it up. If you're not a fan of story, then if you're still on the fence about this and you don't like story, I'll just say it's worth the wait, because it does make you wait quite a while between in the gameplay cutscenes. But if you're used to playing stuff like Metal Gear Solid, then the Order 1886 is no problem whatsoever. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and if you like this video, yeah, look at my other stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.